let's test cheap versus expensive hammers. So starting with our grip test, and they both have decent hold on them, but taking a closer look at the paint underneath, we can see that there's bigger gaps on cheap, meaning less contact area than on expensive. Now moving on to our Stanley Trousers quick draw test, and we can see that cheap manages to actually get out of the loop a lot quicker than expensive does. In fact, expensive wouldn't come out at all having a slightly bigger handle, meaning I had to use my other hand to remove it. Next up onto our nail removing test, and they both perform adequately well removing the nail from the wood, but we can see that on cheap, the nail is a lot more bent than on expensive. Moving on to our hammer test, and we can see again they both perform adequately well, but I did feel a lot less vibration from expensive than cheap. We can confirm this test with our hammer drop anvil test, where we can see the bounce back on expensive is quite a lot less than on cheap, and that's because the handle is obviously a solid piece of metal. This makes sense for our next test, where we're looking at the balance of the hammers. We can see the balance point is slightly further back on cheap than expensive, and that's because the extra weight in the handle. And again, we can see the vibration of the hammer with our tuning fork test, where we can see we get a louder ping on expensive, which means we'll get less vibration. And finally weighing them, we can see that expensive has quite a lot more material than cheap does. So based on a test today, expensive wins. Very cool.